Good day everyone, GarageKing here, and we have a super hot day. We have a car that the AC does not work, it needs to be recharged, and I have 2 cans in my hand, and I have a cheap $20 tool. We're gonna get it done, and I'm gonna only use 1 can. Now, first question that's gonna come to all your minds, you're gonna say, why do you have 2 cans? This one's 134A, this is what this car takes, and this is R12A, so it's a replacement. Now, this can look smaller, but yet it is more. So how can that even happen? How can it happen? Well, let me tell you how it happens. Density. This can is equivalent to 1 full pound, so 16 ounces of our 134A. Here we only have 12 ounces, and you can see there is a size difference. So we're going to try using this today. Now the best part about using this is it's environmentally friendly. You do not need an AC license to use it. If it leaks all out, who cares? It does not matter. Whenever you're charging up with our 134A, you should really fix your system and make sure it doesn't leak because it's not good for the environment. So this stuff, it's great. And the best part is anybody can do it. It is so easy. And even if your vehicle is leaking a bit, well, you know what? If you keep using this stuff and sometimes you get a charge and it'll last you through the summer, might only cost you $20 for the summer, so you can save some cash. Anyway, let's get to it. I'll show you how it works, and yeah, let's get to it. All right, so we're in the car, and the first thing we want to do is see if our compressor is cutting in. There you go. Listen for the click. There you go. Click again. All right, so if we go to my phone app, we can see it feels like 100 today, so it is super hot, and that is in Fahrenheit. Now in Celsius, it feels like it's 38. Okay, so let's hook up the gauges. There is the low side, and the blue one is the high side. And the reason I wanna hook up the gauges is I wanna show you the pressures first. We're gonna start the car and see what the pressures look like, and then we're gonna use the gauges to evacuate the system. Okay, so here you can see, here is the gauges at rest. We're gonna start the car and listen for the compressor. There we go, there's the click, the compressor just cut in, and you can see it pulls the low side right down, and it's gonna actually try to push that high side up higher, but it's just too low on refrigerant right now. But I just wanted to show you what the gauges look like. All right, so I've showed you where the gauges read, and that's when it was running. Now you can see the engine shut off, so they're obviously equalizing out. So you know what, let's see how much is actually in the system, and you know what, it's really not gonna be much. So we're gonna hit reclaim, and now what we're gonna do, I'm going to open up the low side like this. There you go. And what's happening now is the machine is reclaiming. So we're gonna see how much is actually coming out. It's not even registering. And at this point, I can just open up the high side as well. It doesn't matter. Keep them both open. We're gonna start drawing a vacuum soon. We're almost at 0, so there's almost nothing left in the system now. Nothing left in the system, and there you go. Didn't even read, but yet the compressor was still running. So that's actually pretty good. This Honda runs on almost nothing. It runs on fumes, I guess you could say. And there you can see we're actually drawing a vacuum. And I don't know if you saw it flicker there, so we pretty much got almost an ounce out of it. Maybe if I move the machine with the scale, there you go, you can see. So we might have about an ounce. Okay, so let's continue on with our vacuuming. Now you're probably saying, GarageKing, why do I even want to vacuum a system? Well, I'll tell you why. It's so you can get rid of moisture, because moisture causes warm in the air conditioner. And you can see here, we're on our way down to 30 inches of vacuum. Now, a perfect vacuum is 29.92. You are never gonna get it, maybe if you're floating in outer space, but hey, anywhere in the world, you're just never gonna get it. But if we can get close, we can boil away the water, which means we will have colder air conditioning. So here at 0, okay, that's just everyday, you know, what we live in. Boiling point of water is 212F or 100 centigrade. We all know that. But if we can get down to 29, then we reduce our boiling point to 76F or 24 Celsius. And if we can get to the, you know, a perfect vacuum, we're gonna go minus 90F or minus 67 Celsius. But I just don't think that's gonna happen. Anyway, that's just why vacuuming is really important, because it allows you to get moisture out of the system so you can have a colder system. So looking at our book here, we can see air conditioning specifications for Honda. We have a 2006 Civic. So if we want to look at our Civic here, 2006, we can see 0.88 to 0.98 of a pound. So we need a pound. Now, if we look here at the 134A, we can see we don't even have a pound. We have 12 ounces or 340 grams. Okay, so that's what we have. So 1 can wouldn't be enough if it was totally empty. Now, if we look at this Redtek stuff, we can see here 1 can is equivalent to 16 ounces or 454 grams of our 134A. So one of these cans is equal to a pound. So 1 can will totally fill up our Honda Civic. So that's great, but you gotta remember, that's if the Civic is totally empty. So let's fill the car up. So we're gonna screw the can on, we're gonna snap the gauge on, and now what we gotta do is just pierce the can just like this, and we are going to adjust and throttle the flow of the refrigerant in. Now what's really interesting on this, I've never done this before, I'm gonna have 3 cameras going and we're gonna see live how it happens. Listen for this. There we go. So we just triggered the compressor. So now that the compressor's triggered, we should see the temperature on the dash going down slowly. And this is pretty cool. Like I said, I've never done this before. This is the first time I've filmed it like this. I'm gonna speed it up because everyone's not gonna stand here all day, watching this video. But you can see how the compressor keeps running there. You can see the clutch, it's engaged, it keeps running. And you can see how the temperature in the dash keeps getting colder and colder. And the gauge on the can is right at the top of the blue where it's supposed to be. I don't even think I can fit a magnifying glass in there, but you can trust me, it's where it's supposed to be. And then once we fill the can up, what we'll do is we'll take the can off. So at this point now, you can see the gauge, it's coming down there, and I have the can wide open. And the reason it's coming down is there's literally nothing left in the can, and this is the pressure that the low side is actually running at. So the can is equivalent to the pressure on the low side right now. What you want to do is you want to leave the engine running, because as soon as we stop the engine, this pressure is going to go right up when both sides equalize. So you want to leave it running, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to pull this off. Now we're going to lose a little bit, we always do, because there's just no way to get every little last bit out of the can. So there you go. You can see next to nothing, that's all that came out. So that is it, and the little bit that went to the air doesn't even matter because, like I said, this stuff is environmentally friendly. Non-ozone depleting, eco-safe. So let's put the caps back on and have a quick recap. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Now, this was an easy video. All I used was probably like a $20 tool here and this can, which really doesn't cost much. Like I said, it's environmentally friendly. It's much better than the 134A. For the environment, you don't have to use, or you don't have to have a license to use it. Now, and I showed you, if your car is blowing warm, you probably really don't have much in it. You saw we barely had an ounce in the car. That's it. Usually if your car gets cold when you're driving it on the highway, but it's sort of warmer at idle, you might have an ounce and a half to 2 ounces. And if your compressor's not even running, you saw how we checked the compressor, then usually you don't have, like, there's next to nothing in it. But it's always good. You can always check it with this cheap tool, how much pressure's in your system without even wasting a can. All you have to do is screw the can to it, plug it on, and just see what it reads. And don't pierce the can, because it'll tell you how much pressure you have in your system, and you may not even have any. But one of the things I wanted to do with this video was just to show that if it's blowing warm air and your compressor's still running, you know what? You probably don't have much, an ounce, that's it. Now this stuff is actually compatible with 134A seals, it's compatible. And like I said, it's environmentally friendly, so you're not gonna get anyone angry. That was a big thing. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, anything like that, please let me know. That is it. GarageKing over and out, and I hope to see you next week.